Hello everybody, my name is Bomi. I'm one of the tutors for this course. Welcome to the first tutorial session of knowledge management. Today I'm going to talk about how to develop the research project as well as how to get things started. But before, I would like to emphasize that this video does not replace the slides. We have put all the information that we want to communicate with you on the slides, including in the footnotes. In this video, I'm just going to hop from slide to slide and only talk about the essential parts. This is because we just didn't see the point in us reading the slides for you, but to get a complete picture, you should download the slides and read them carefully. First is time management. As I already mentioned in the announcement, we want you to use this schedule not only to update yourself on what we're going to talk about each week, but also to assess yourselves where you're standing with your team projects. So the deliverables for each week sort of signal where you want to be standing. Use this framework to keep your progress on schedule along the way. For the project, it is very important to have a good case. And how do you choose a good case? My advice is to have three elements aligned: the profession, the knowledge management practice or challenge, and the technology. Let's start with the profession. You're asked to choose a profession within these three domains. And here are a set of questions that you can ask to choose the right profession. A more extensive list is available on Canvas, so make sure you check that. And this is an exercise to help you find and align the three elements that I just mentioned. First is the profession, second is the knowledge management practice or activities, as well as the related core skills of that profession, and third, the technology. So use this framework to choose the right case for your project. And here you see questions that you can ask to describe your profession. Think of it like when you're studying an object, you want to turn it around and look at it from different angles. Try to do the same with your profession. So you want to ask questions on multiple levels and from multiple angles. What's the structure of the profession? Who's in charge? What's the hierarchy? These would be questions more on a higher level, but then you also want to ask questions on a more micro or lower level, such as what are the everyday activities? What's the work procedure like? And then on the other hand, you want to understand the people who do this work. So what kind of people have this job? What kind of background do they have? What are their characteristics, etc. Next to it, of course, you can ask the more conceptual or theory-driven questions, such as what is the most prominent knowledge type of this profession? Is it more ingrained knowledge? Is it more embodied knowledge? When you're collecting all this information, of course, at the end of the day, you want to use it for your project. The core part of your report is the body, so the case story. And the case story, again, has three parts, right? How did professionals work before the transformation? What is the knowledge management transformation caused by a novel technology? How did professionals react to this transformation? And so the description of the profession, all these questions that I just mentioned, would be relevant for, yes, the pre-transformation part of the report. So here, by asking multiple questions about the profession and really understanding it inside out, you want to set the baseline. And this baseline, a good understanding of the profession, will help you tease out how the technology changed their knowledge management practices. As well as for the profession, we also narrowed the scope of technology for you. We want you to study artificial intelligence technology. We provided a working definition of AI in the course manual, but AI is a slippery concept even for its researchers. So if you're unsure whether the technology that you want to focus is AI or not, feel free to always ask us. About choosing the right knowledge management transformation, there are mainly two things you want to ask yourself. First, is it narrow enough? Because we want you to deep dive into the case and also because it has to be feasible for the project given the time limit and resources. And then the second thing is the knowledge management transformation related to the core skills or core activities of the profession? Is it important for them? Because we're looking for a technology that has had impact on the profession. If it's just a very marginal part of what they do, they're not likely to care about it, and then you won't get a substantial story, right? When you describe the transformation, think about the functionality of the technology. What does this technology allow you to do? And then try to see if there's an overlap between the functionality of the technology and the core activities and the core set of skills of the profession. Because of the current situation, we understand that it might be a bit difficult for you to conduct many interviews. So this year, instead of asking you to conduct more interviews, we're putting more emphasis on desk research. So you're going to be ready before you go out and do interviews. That is, you're going to collect and digest a lot of materials and information from various online sources, and then try to fill up the gaps and holes with the interviews. So when you do desk research, try to be like a detective. As I've mentioned before, try to look at the phenomenon from multiple levels and multiple angles. And back to the three elements of the case story, aka the body of your report. The desk research will naturally be focused on the first two elements. So before the transformation and during the transformation. And then you're likely to fill up the gaps with interviews, get some extra information that you couldn't find online, as well as ask about their perception and reactions to the change. So what kind of information are you supposed to be looking when you're doing your desk research? Use the guiding questions for the first two elements of your case story mainly, and try to get as much information as possible on the profession as well as the transformation. And then the third element, so the more personal stories and people sense making, will be complemented mostly by the interviews. All right, that's about it already. And action points, what you have to do the coming week is to decide on a good case. And again, try to align the three elements: the profession, the technology, and the knowledge management challenge. Second, look for good sources for your desk research and try to weave them together to construct the story. And we meet each other in 2 weeks. By then, we ask you to have a good idea of what your research would be, and we expect you to have been in contact with some people already via LinkedIn or emails, for example, to schedule the interviews. And next time, we're going to talk about how to conduct interviews. Okay, then, thank you for listening and see you guys soon. Take care.